Jeongbang Waterfall on Jeju Island plunges directly into the sea, one of the few waterfalls in the world that empties into an ocean. Do you know Saryeoni Forest Path shelters ancient firs and a rare microclimate that researchers say resembles isolated primeval forests found in only a handful of places worldwide? Saryeoni Forest Path on Jeju Island preserves one of the few continuous stretches of ancient cedar and ai woodland, sculpted by volcanic soil. Do you know Saryeoni Forest Path is famous for its thick, mossy ground that absorbs sound and seems to slow time for anyone who walks it? Tall trunks rise like columns, their bark etched with time and tiny ecosystems of lichen and fungi. Breezes here carry a sweet, resinous scent that locals say sharpens the senses and heals modern restlessness. The trail winds through dappled light and shadow, sometimes opening on sudden clearings where azaleas and wild grasses gather. In spring, the path becomes a tunnel of pale pink and white flowers that seem to float above the dark soil. Photographers linger for hours, but the real magic is in walking slowly and listening to the forest's quiet conversation. Each step on the soft volcanic sand brings you closer to an older island story, written in lava and wind. Saryeoni connects naturally to Jeju's other wild places, acting as a green vein toward the higher slopes of Hallasan. From here, hikers can continue to misty ridgelines or descend toward coastal pine groves that frame the island's volcanic shores. Local guides point out medicinal herbs and ancient markers hidden beneath root tangles, remnants of island rituals. Saryeoni's gentle loops are also a doorway to Jeju's Gyeongwol forests, where unique groundwater feeds rare wetlands. Walking from one forest to the next feels like moving through chapters of a living book about volcanic island ecology. For visitors who seek solace rather than spectacle, Saryeoni is a rare sanctuary where the island's energy is tangible. Every season rewrites the path. Summer's deep green, autumn's honeyed leaves, winter's stark silhouettes and spring's soft bloom. By the time you leave Saryeoni, your pace has changed and you carry a quieter rhythm back toward the sea. That calm is the forest's gift, and it threads through Jeju's landscapes, binding volcanic peaks to coastal horizons. Woljeongri's shoreline is one of the world's most photographed stretches of sand, where powdery white meets rows of wind-sculpted green pines. Do you know Woljeongri Beach on Jeju Island is famous for its glassy tide pools that refract the sea into impossible blues? Local fishermen still launch small wooden boats from the Crescent Beach at dawn, tracing ancient routes along the coast. The shallow waters create a mirror effect at low tide, turning every step into a living watercolor painting. In autumn, the pine-lined promenade glows amber, and the contrast between trunks and sand becomes almost surreal. Photographers time their visits for the narrow window, when diminishing tides reveal volcanic rock formations dusted with shells. Near the beach, cafes hug the dunes and pour black coffee into cups that steam against island breezes. These places double as galleries, displaying local ceramics and paintings inspired by the sea and volcanic soil. Woljeongri acts like a quiet hinge between the bustling resorts of Awol and the wilder western cliffs, inviting visitors to slow down. From here, trails lead to hidden lava fields and into neighborhoods where traditional thatched roofs still cling to old ways. At night, the shoreline is dotted with lanterns, and the surf carries low, rhythmic whispers that feel almost ceremonial. The island's geology is visible in cross-sections of cliff and pebble, connecting Woljeongri to volcanic wonders further inland. Local guides tell stories of shipwrecks and sea spirits, blending history with folklore in a way that deepens every visit. Those tales echo on toward neighboring sites like Hallam Park and Hyeopjae Beach, where similar legends unfold. A brief walk along the coast can move you from quiet pines to black basalt columns, sculpted by ancient eruptions. And when you step onto a nearby trail, the island's layered past, geological, cultural, personal, becomes unmistakably present. Woljeongri is small enough to be intimate, yet rich enough to feel like a threshold into the island's secret chapters. To leave is to carry a fragment of Jeju's light and hush with you, a memory that pulls you toward the next cove. Jeongbang Waterfall plunges 23 meters directly into the East China Sea, one of the few waterfalls in Asia to meet the ocean head-on. Do you know Jeongbang Waterfall on Jeju Island was revered for centuries and linked to sailor legends? Rocks around the fall are carved from ancient lava flows, forming dark vertical basalt columns that frame the cascade. At low tide, the pool whispers secrets of shipwrecks and traded spices. At high tide, the sea roars up against the cliff. Local lore says the legendary navigator Seoul once passed here, leaving behind footprints etched into the rock as proof. Fishermen still pay respect at the adjacent shrine, offering cheni and rice before venturing onto the unpredictable currents. Tourists arrive to watch the curtain of water shiver in the spray and to taste the salt-laced air. Photographers chase the perfect moment when sunlight fractures through mist, painting rainbows that hang above the falling water. Beneath the waterfall, tide pools host delicate sea anemones and tiny fish that flicker like coins in sunlight. The marine life here differs subtly from inland freshwater falls, a living intersection of river and ocean ecologies. Geologists study Jeongbang's platform to read Jeju's volcanic past, each layer a chapter of eruptions and slow cooling. That same volcanic story connects Jeongbang to nearby attractions, strings of black rock sculpted by the same subterranean heat. From the viewing deck, you can trace the coastline toward Oedolga Rock, an isolated pillar of lava standing like an island sentinel. Walk the cliff path, and the sounds shift: waves, gulls, then the hush of Jeonjeon Waterfall, waiting a short drive inland. Jeongbang's accessibility makes it a perfect pivot in any Jeju itinerary, linking seaside myths with hidden inland springs. And when the sun dips low, the falls glow copper, as if the island itself is remembering an ancient flying. Stay close to the rocks, and you'll hear more than water. You'll hear centuries of human voice, songs, prayers, warnings. Each echo nudges you toward the next story, a short journey up the coast where different waters tell a different tale. In winter, the spray freezes into fragile curtains, jeweled in rime, a transient sculpture that photographers chase across the island. But whatever the season, Jeongbang serves as an open invitation. Follow the coastline, and the island's layered histories will unfold before you. Nearby cafes pour hot barley tea, while elders point toward the horizon where distant ships mark old trade routes. That human thread connects directly to the harbor at Seogwipo. And beyond that, to mountaintop paths where island myths are still alive. Hyeopjae Beach's powder white sand is composed largely of crushed coral and shell fragments, a rarity among volcanic island shorelines. Do you know Hyeopjae Beach's shimmering shallow waters reveal ancient basalt rock gardens that stretch like dark lace beneath the sea? Visitors arrive expecting typical beach vistas, but instead find translucent emerald water, shallow enough to walk for hundreds of meters. Tidal pools trap tiny marine worlds, where neon-striped fish and sea anemones play out scenes more familiar to tropical reefs. On clear days, the nearby Byeongdo Islet rises like a green sentinel, its silhouette mirrored perfectly in the beach's glassy surface. From the parking strip, short trails of wind-shaped pines frame the shore, leading you from volcanic hedgerows straight onto the sand. Hyeopjae connects naturally to the island's lava legacies, with black basalt columns and caves peeking through dunes that gleam with white. Explore westward, and the coastline folds into secret coves, each turning the island's volcanic story into a different seaside poem. Local fishermen still haul small catches to the shore, and nearby restaurants serve abalone porridge that tastes faintly of the sea's mineral breath. In late afternoon, sunlight slants across the water, creating bands of turquoise and sapphire, convincing some visitors they've stepped into a painting. Snorkelers whisper about an underwater arch where currents swirl and tiny columns of sand migrate like living dunes beneath their fins. Beachcombers collect smooth white pebbles and fossilized shells, each a small record of the island's collision of coral and fire. For photographers, the combination of soft sand, molten rocks, and low tides offers compositions that change dramatically hour by hour. As night approaches, lantern-lit cafes along the promenade invite quiet conversation, while the sea keeps its slow, unmistakable pulse. Hyeopjae Beach is more than a postcard. It's a living crossroads where tropical reef life and volcanic geology meet and keep surprising visitors. Before we move on to the rugged cliffs of Seongsan Ilchulbong, linger here a moment longer and let the beach rewrite your idea of an island shore. Perched on Busan's steepest coastal foothills, Gamcheon Culture Village cascades in a patchwork of over 200 geometric alleys. Do you know that this vibrant maze began as a refuge for Korean War migrants, and later became a living canvas when artists and locals turned derelict dwellings into murals and sculptures. Walking its narrow stairways feels like tracing 1,000 tiny stories, each doorway and mural a chapter of survival, reinvention, and playful artistry. Residents still hang laundry beside painted doors, and children chase stray cats across rooftops that double as improvised galleries. Look closely, and you'll find hidden mosaics, repurposed tiles, and interactive installations that invite visitors to become part of the village's ongoing restoration. Local workshops teach traditional crafts, from paper lantern making to miniature model houses, connecting heritage to contemporary creativity. Despite its popularity, Gamcheon preserves an intimate rhythm. Mornings bring silence and the scent of sea and tangerine trees, while afternoons fill with the hushed click of camera shutters. Small cafes and family-run stalls serve tteokbokki and sweet rice drinks that taste like the neighborhood's layered history. The village's zigzagging lanes offer framed views out to Busan Harbor, turning every corner into a living postcard where urban grit meets color-drenched optimism. This visual dialogue between sea and settlement mirrors Busan's larger identity as a port city, where trade, culture, and migration converge. From those same roofs, you can spot the distant sweep of another Busan icon, a busy fish market that continues the city's story of seaborne life. Leaving Gamcheon, you carry its textures, faded paint, salt air, and the persistent hum of human ingenuity right into Busan's bustling waterfront. That transition leads naturally to the next chapter of the city, the chaotic, fragrant alleys of Jagalchi Market, where the ocean's harvest is traded in full view. At Jagalchi, fishermen shout prices and whole octopi glisten in crates, an unvarnished performance that complements Gamcheon's muralized memory. Together they form a Busan duet, one of crafted color and quiet reflection, the other of salt-stung commerce and vivid immediacy. Photographers learn that the richest frames are found not in sweeping panoramas, but in narrow thresholds where light sketches patterns on peeling paint. So linger in Gamcheon's alleys, listen to its locals, and let the village's layered textures guide you onward into Busan's living mosaic. Tucked between Gyeongbokgung and Changdaeokgung, Bukchon Hanok Village preserves over 600 traditional Hanok houses arranged on a steep maze-like hillside. Streets here still follow the old Joseon-era topography, where narrow alleys and stone stairways were planned to control wind and sunlight for each courtyard. Walking these lanes feels like moving through a living history book, where rooftops sweep in black tiles and wooden beams whisper age-old carpentry secrets. But this is not a frozen museum. Families still live inside many of these homes, blending daily life with delicate conservation efforts. Look up, and you'll notice ondole flues and latticed windows designed to manage warmth and privacy long before modern engineering. Inside, rooms are calm and oriented around a maru wooden floor that doubles as social space and seasonal refuge. Artisans have returned in recent years, opening small studios where hanji paper, calligraphy, and woodcraft are practiced in view of passers-by. Tea houses tucked behind carved doors invite visitors to sit on floor cushions and taste subtle brews that have accompanied Korean conversation for centuries. Community rules and strict preservation codes limit renovations, so every restoration must pass careful review to keep materials and proportions authentic. That tension between preservation and modern needs has sparked creative solutions like hidden plumbing channels and discreet thermal upgrades. In the evenings, paper lanterns and soft window light reveal silhouettes of daily routines, elders sharing stories, children folding paper boats, cooks preparing simple meals. Photographers and filmmakers often seek these moments, but the truest souvenir is the sense that human rhythms still govern this place. Haeundae Beach spills along Busan's southeastern coast, a rare urban shore where sea meets a towering skyline. Its unique position on the Korea Strait creates tidal patterns that shaped local fishing techniques for centuries. Do you know Haeundae hosts both lunar sunrise rituals and international film premieres, blending old sea rites with modern spectacle? Walkable boardwalks connect the beach to hot springs and historic fishing villages that hint at Busan's layered past. Mornings here are a collage of joggers, Tai Chi groups, and vendors selling sizzling aeomuk beside the surf. Afternoons fill with families, surfers, and sculptors building transient art that battles incoming waves. Underwater, hidden reefs and small coral terraces make Haeundae an unexpected spot for local divers and marine researchers. Seafood markets pulse with the day's haul, tying the sea's richness directly to city life. Seasonal festivals, flower shows, summer fireworks, winter sunrise gatherings reshape the beach's rhythm and social calendar. Each season changes how Busan's residents use the shore, transforming public rituals and everyday routines. Hidden alleys off the main strip shelter family restaurants, serving Hyeopjae and Woljeongri, recipes preserved across generations. Those flavors, consumed between umbrella rentals and surf lessons, form an edible bridge between past and present. Storms can turn Haeundae fierce, with waves that rewrite the sand and remind visitors of the sea's power. Yet calm mornings return quickly, with children, fishermen, and shorebirds restoring the beach's steady heartbeat. Perched on Naksan, Seoul Tower crowns the city with a rotating observation deck that frames Seoul's ever-changing skyline. Do you know that its LED facade is programmed like a giant mood ring, shifting color and pattern to reflect festivals, weather, and national celebrations? From dawn, you can watch the city unfurl in layers of mist and light, and by night, the tower becomes a luminous compass for millions of people below. The elevators glide up through glass that teases glimpses of Seoul's patchwork neighborhoods, and each level tells a different story: broadcast history, public art, and panoramic intimacy. Couples have long fastened padlocks to the railings around the tower as public promise, creating a dense lattice of names and dates that reads like a modern folk tapestry. Beneath the romantic ritual, technicians maintain the tower's transmission systems and its LED skin with military precision, making it both symbol and infrastructure. On clear days, the observation deck stretches your sightline to the Han River and the ridgelines that cradle the city, offering a lesson in Seoul's topography. You can trace how neighborhoods fold into one another from this vantage. Old alleys clinging to modern glass, palaces tucked beside skyscrapers. Food vendors at the tower's base sell toasted chestnuts and spicy rice cakes that smell like autumn, grounding the high-altitude view in everyday life. Artists, photographers, and couples all come here seeking perspective, but the tower's smallest gift is the shift in scale it offers. Seoul looks both vast and intimate. From this steel spire, the city's pulse is readable. Neon markets, subway arteries, and a rhythm that carries you down the mountain. As you descend through fragrant pine and stone steps, the path naturally feeds into the bright chaos of Myeongdong below, where the next chapter of Seoul begins. Perched on Busan's harbor, Jagalchi Fish Market is Korea's largest seafood market and a bustling living ocean stage. Rows of tanks, crates, and piled fish fill the air with salty brine and constant activity. Jagalchi Ajumas, the market's legendary women vendors, run stalls with brisk jokes and practiced hands. They will fillet your catch and send it to a tiny kitchen where it is served moments later. The market grew rapidly with Busan's port, rising from gravel banks that once marked the shoreline. Fishermen unload neon crates at dawn, and auctions decide the fate of tuna and other large catches. Live octopus and still-moving squid demonstrate how immediacy from sea to plate defines local taste. You can choose, pay, and watch a chef turn raw fish into ho or sizzling grilled skewers. Narrow alleys funnel tourists toward Nampo-dong, linking Jagalchi to BIFF Square and historic seaside promenades. That connection makes the market both a working harbor and a gateway to Busan's cultural districts. Morning here is kinetic, with families sharing steaming bowls and vendors shouting prices in rhythmic cadence. Some stalls still use scales and hand tallying, preserving trade methods that predate digital meters and modern audits. Each seller carries wisdom about seasons, pairing seafood with sauces and the best ways to cure fish. Buy a paper cone of sashimi, and you hold a direct link from ocean currents to your palate. Every bite traces tides, migration, and the livelihoods of people who have read the sea for generations. Jagalchi is more than commerce. It's a living archive of coastal life, ritual, and resilience. Stay with us as we follow one fish from net to table and uncover the quiet rules that govern this market. Daedunsan's serrated granite ridgeline carves into the sky with narrow spires and cliffs rare even in Korea. Do you know Daedunsan shelters pines that root in hairline cracks and quietly survive for centuries against impossible odds? Narrow iron chains and steep steps thread the mountain like an old necklace, guiding hikers across exposed faces to sudden plateaus. The park's cable car drops passengers from valley hush into a windswept world of jagged stone and panoramic horizons. In autumn, the ridges ignite in bands of crimson and gold that seem to flow directly from the rock itself. In winter, frost etches the pines and creates surreal white sculptures that bend light into eerie patterns. Most visitors come for the dramatic viewpoints, but few know the summit hides ancient trails once used by mountain monks and local messengers. Those narrow paths still whisper stories of pilgrims who navigated the same chains and stone steps before maps existed. The park's rock faces host tiny pockets of soil where wildflowers bloom defiantly in spring, attracting bees that seem to visit only this rare microhabitat. Each ledge feels like a floating garden, a secret kept between stone and skyline. Below Daedunsan, the valley folds into tea terraces and quiet villages, a gentle contrast that ties mountain drama to everyday life. The same trails that climb steep ridges also thread down toward these hamlets, connecting hikers to local crafts and food. For photographers, the light here is unpredictable. Sudden shafts through cloud can turn granite to molten bronze for a heartbeat. For those who stay until dusk, the silhouette of the serrated ridge slices the sunset into ribbons. Hidden among the cliffs are small tea houses and stone shelters where stories are traded over steaming cups, and these human touches keep the mountain's wildness intimate rather than lonely. From Daedunsan, trails descend or continue along ridgelines that lead toward the next remarkable park, promising that each summit is only a chapter of a longer journey. Naksan Beach is one of South Korea's rare coastal stretches where a pine-clad headland rises directly from a sweeping band of white sand into the East Sea. Do you know that Naksan Beach sits beneath Naksansa, a temple founded in 671, so visitors can watch the very first sunrise framed by ancient pagodas? The unusual pairing of temple and shore creates scenes not common elsewhere. Prayer flags snapping above sand, monks' footsteps trotting down to tide lines where local fishermen still mend nets. In winter, the beach becomes a mirror for early light, and in summer, it fills with surfers chasing the East Sea swells and families drawn to its warm, shallow bays. Between the pine forest and the shoreline, hidden paths curve into rocky coves where tidal pools reveal small crabs, sea anemones, and shells that children collect like scattered jewels. At dawn, the horizon line seems to glow longer here, a phenomenon locals swear makes vows and wishes feel more lasting than anywhere inland. Naksan's sands have been a quiet stage for history. Pilgrims, fishermen, and modern travelers all leave traces, and that continuity is visible in the weathered wooden stairways leading from temple to shore. After exploring these walkways, travelers often follow the coastal road east, where the next village keeps the rhythm of the sea in its markets and morning rituals. But the beach hides subtler surprises too. The wind-carved pines smell of resin and salt. And at low tide, the exposed reefs create patterns so regular, sailors once used them as informal charts. Even at night, when lanterns at the temple cast long shadows across the sand, the sense that land and sea are stitched together here is unmistakable. If you listen closely, you can hear stories in the surf, tales passed from boat to shore about storms, rescues, and a stubborn local devotion to keeping this coastline alive. From here, our journey follows those stories eastward, tracing fishermen's roots, coastal temples, and hidden bays that will reveal how the East Sea has shaped life along this rugged edge. Gyeongbokgung holds the heart of Joseon-era Seoul with a compound that once contained over 300 buildings. Its wooden halls, painted in vivid danjeong, still whisper royal protocol and centuries of court life. Do you know the palace was first built in 1395? And later endured war, arson, and colonial dismantling. Today, restorations have pieced back the throne hall, pavilions, and bridges, though many courtyards still feel empty. At the center stands Gyeongbokgung, the main throne hall where monarchs issued edicts and received envoys. Nearby, Gyeongharu Pavilion rises above a pond, once hosting grand banquets beneath lantern light. Wandering the palace paths, you find the National Palace Museum and the Folk Museum, filling gaps in court life. Step through Gwanghwamun and modern Seoul unloads, linking the palace to Gwanghwamun Plaza and the city beyond. Daily, the Royal Guard changing ceremony reanimates tradition with vivid uniforms, drums, and precise formations. Stone courtyards become stages where history is performed, not merely displayed. Beneath ornate eaves are symbols, dragons for sovereignty, phoenixes for virtue, each brushstroke carrying meaning. The palace layout follows geomantic principles that align its gates and halls with Bukchon's slopes. Restoration has peeled back layers of paint and foundation to reveal changing tastes across centuries. From the palace terraces you can walk to Bukchon Hanok Village and sense how royal precincts transitioned into artisan neighborhoods. Photographs cannot capture the hush of courtyards once filled with ceremonies or the intimacy of secret gardens. At dusk, lantern light across stone reconnects past and present, inviting visitors to bridge centuries in a single step. From Gyeongbokgung, the next steps lead to Jeongbokgung and Jeongmyo Shrine, each offering different chapters of royal life and ritual. Together they form a constellation of cities where Seoul's past remains alive beneath the modern skyline. Such contrasts continue in the port markets of Busan, the mudflats of the Yellow Sea, and the island gardens of Namhae. Each place a chapter that leads naturally to the next. If you think you've seen it all, South Korea still has hidden seasons where lantern-lit festivals, volcanic beaches that glow with black sand, and urban shrines of street food rewrite what you thought you knew. Keep watching, because what follows will reveal the oddities, the vanished rituals, and the surprising science behind the landscapes we've only just begun to tour. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why these places aren't isolated sites, but a connected ecosystem of memory, geology, and human creativity. Stay with us as we close this chapter and open the map to stories that will change the way you look at islands, mountains, and cities forever.